One of the major new features of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate were the addition of the Spirit Battles. These use the game's existing roster of characters, items, stages, and rules to make a battle representing a certain character. As returning viewers of the channel would know, I enjoy this extra mode a lot, and I've done a few videos making my own custom Spirit Battles. However, while most Spirit Battles are fantastic, there are a few that just don't make any sense, or they could be made significantly better, so as a bit of a spin-off to my Making Spirits series, today we're going to be fixing some of the Spirit Battles already in Ultimate. Now just going to let you all know, I don't know every franchise in Smash very well, so a lot of this video is going to be focused on franchises I know best. One other thing I thought would be fun to talk about is how some battles might change with DLC, so I'll be mentioning battles that I think could improve using DLC characters or stages. But with that said, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. At 100k, I'll rank every moon in Mario Odyssey, and let's jump right into our first spirit. So as you can probably tell by my channel name, I'm a big fan of the Mario franchise, so a majority of the spirits I'm fixing for this video will be taken from there. Kicking us off, we have the Waluigi spirit. This change will be relatively simple as the battle is already pretty decent. This takes place on Peach's castle against a purple Luigi with the Waluigi assist trophy spawning in after some time. Now obviously the fighter and condition makes sense, it's the stage I have an issue with. I don't really think it makes any sense for Waluigi of all characters to appear on Peach's castle, since the only time he ever really goes there is in, like, Mario Kart. That's why I suggest changing the stage over to either Figure 8 Circuit or Mario Circuit, though I prefer Figure 8 Circuit. In Smash, I mean, the course sucks in Mario Kart. Wow, so exciting, woo. While we're on the topic of Waluigi, he's actually featured in the artwork of a different spirit being the standard bite. For the most part, this battle is fine. This takes place on Figure 8 Circuit again, and the fighter being Wario, who spams side special. It certainly works, but I think this could be made better by making this for an entirely different vehicle. Considering Wario's bike actually made an appearance in Mario Kart Wii, why not just make this the battle for Wario's bike? Again, this still works for the standard bike, I just think it would be better if it was based on the actual vehicle used in this fight that doesn't have a spirit at all. Alright, let's take a look at a few of the spirits for some of the Mario series enemies. First off, we have the Hammer Bros spirit. This features a yellow Yoshi on Battlefield Golden Plains with the Hammer Bros assist trophy spawning after a while. This time around, I actually really like the stage choice as it feels like a location where you would actually fight these guys in the games. The only thing I would add in here is making the Yoshi either spawn with the hammer or just make hammers the only item. That way, not only is the hammer aspect of the Hammer Bros better represented, but so will how annoying they are to fight against. The Bob-omb is a simple change. Currently, it's a fight against a horde of black Kirbys with Bob-ombs being the only items to spawn in. The problem I have here is once again with the stage being Mushroom Kingdom. Unless you count Mario Maker, Bob-ombs never appeared in Super Mario Bros, so I would change this to be literally any other Mario stage. Okay, well, except for like Mushroomy Kingdom, but you get what I mean. Actually, they don't appear in Mario Bros either, so not every— You get what I mean! The final Mario enemy for now is the Nipper Plant, which has the smallest change so far. This is against a horde of small white Pac-Man on Super Mario Maker. Now yeah, the Nipper Plant doesn't appear in the Mario Maker games, but if you see the stages representing the games in Mario Maker, then this works fine. What doesn't work is that the stage is for some reason frozen in its Mario World variation. But the Nipper Plant doesn't appear in Mario World, it only ever appeared in Mario 3. So just change the stage to be frozen in that form. Mind-blowing, I know. Alright, we do have some more Mario spirits to cover, but let's take a break and jump into a different franchise for a bit, so let's take a look at some Zelda spirits. Starting off, we have the face of the Zelda franchise. No, not Zelda, Link. Not that Link. There we go. Currently, this is represented by Red Young Link on the Find Me stage. Despite Find Me not being a Zelda stage, the aesthetic fits the first game pretty well, so I have no issues there. My problem is with Young Link here. Now yes, the red tunic could be used to represent the red ring from the first game, but the red tunic isn't what's pictured in the spirit artwork. While they could use Young Link's default costume, I actually have something better. Toon Link literally has a costume based on the original Link, so the fact that it's not the one used here is kinda sad. I mean, if they're going to have a lame costume, they might as well use it for something. Okay, now onto the namesake of the franchise, Zelda and the Young Zelda Spirit Battle. This features a small Zelda and a red Young Link on Hyrule Castle. Considering this is the exact castle from Ocarina of Time, this stage makes perfect sense, so once again, we have to turn to the characters. For whatever reason, they put Zelda in her brown hair alt, despite young Zelda from Ocarina of Time having blonde hair. In fact, Zelda has an alt based on Ocarina of Time Zelda, so once again, I'm asking the dev team to use the alt based on the character they're trying to represent. As for Young Link, he's again in his red alt, which doesn't make sense as only adult Link is able to wear the Goron tunic, so he should be in his default costume. And since we're on the topic of default costumes, there are so many spirit battles that change a character's costume for no reason when their default would work better, so let's go ahead and take a look at some of those really quickly. Now at first I thought not allowing characters to be in their default costume was a creative choice, and I'm sure that's what a lot of you are screaming at me in the comments. I thought that they didn't want anyone in their default costume, but then I looked at the Game & Watch spirits and every single one of them used his default costume. So I guess that means spirits can be in their default look, which means all of the following spirits should be using their normal looks. The Goo Goo Buddy, Critter, Kip, Young Link in the Saria battle, Zora, Young Link in the Tingle battle, Young Link in the Wall Merge battle, Young Link just put on your normal clothes, good lord, Link in the Zelda Breath of the Wild battle, Toon Link in the aerial battle, Queen Metroid, Kraid, that would also kinda works in the costume they have now, Crazy Daisy, Robobot armor, Charmander, Ditto, Mega Mewtwo Y, Mew, Greninja in the Raikou, Entei, and Suicune battle, Tyranitar, Mega Lucario, Ninten, Buzz, Ness in the Ness's father battle. Oh, and by the way, I never realized that Snake was in his camo ult in this battle, which is kinda funny because he's invisible during this fight. Anyways, back to the list, one of the Lucas in the Hinawa fight, and finally, K-Rool in the Chaotix fight. There are probably more, but those are just the ones I noticed. Anyway, let's get back to making some more interesting changes. Let's look at the 2 Pokemon spirits I want to fix. First off, we have the Wheezing Spirit, which I mentioned in my Pokemon Spirits video. This is a fight against Wario on the Pokemon Stadium stage with Poison Fog filling the air. I think the battle actually fits coughing pretty well, but notice how that's not wheezing. One of the Pokemon's defining features is its second head, so I think there should have absolutely been a second Wario here to represent that. Otherwise, they could have just made the spirit coughing instead. Our other Pokemon spirit belongs to Inkay. This takes place on Kalos Pokemon League with your opponent being a light blue Inkling. Along with them, an Inkay will spawn in and earthquakes will occur during the fight. Now I think this fight fits fairly well, however I do think there is one more thing I could add in to help strengthen the references. One of the most unique things about Inkay is how to evolve it, as you had to hold your 3DS upside down as its evolution Malamar kinda looks like an upside down Inkay. I think they could have the screen flip occasionally to replicate this really unique aspect of the Pokemon. Again, the fight is still solid as is, but I think it could be improved a bit. Let's kick this group off with the spirit that inspired me to make this video in the first place, that being the Mecha Koopa. This takes place in the tower variation of Mushroom Kingdom U against a horde of small yellow Bowsers that each have bombs. Now at first glance, this seems like a perfectly fine battle, until you remember that Bowser Jr. exists and also has a move that spawns Mecha Koopas. So anyways, I'd make this against a horde of invisible Bowser Jr.'s who spam down specials, similar to the Gordo spirit. I'm just genuinely shocked they didn't do this, like, I'm flabbergasted. Alright, on to another spirit battle that's decent but could be better with the Hungry Luma. This is a battle against a Kirby and a Pink Rosalina on the Mario Galaxy stage with launch stars being the only item. All of the conditions work here, however I'd make each of the fighters spam a specific move. I'd make Cringe spam side special. I'm talking about Rosalina by the way, I would never insult Kirby. This is her move using Star Bits, and since Star Bits are what Hungry Lumas are all about, it makes sense for her to use it. Since Kirby is meant to represent the Hungry Luma itself, he should spam Inhale since eating is surprisingly what the Hungry Lumas do. Honestly, I'm a bit surprised they don't have them doing this considering how perfectly it fits the character. Let's move on to knocking out a few Animal Crossing spirits. Cap in Wild World is represented by a yellow Luigi on the New Donk City stage. During the fight, the Cap and Assist trophy will spawn in. Now Luigi isn't a bad match, certainly not perfect, but workable. The costume they chose though really doesn't make sense at all though. Maybe they were trying to match the color scheme with the bus he drives, but that's just kinda stupid. His 7th costume fits Cap'n's Wild World color scheme perfectly, so I'm pretty shocked that's not what's used here. Oh, and for the normal Cap'n spirit, make it take place on Tortimer's Island instead of Woohoo Island, you know, cause Cap'n can actually appear there. Anyways, our next spirit I want to look at is Zipper T Bunny, one of the most horrific characters in the series. Currently, he's represented by Blue Isabelle on Smashville, which certainly works, however I had a funny idea for who the fighter could be instead. So according to Animal Crossing lore, Zipper isn't an actual real bunny, just someone in a costume. So I thought, since there's a rabbit-related Mii costume, they could make the fighter be a Mii in the arcade bunny hat to represent how Zipper is just a costume. Personally, I think this battle could be pretty funny, though the one they have now is still solid. Alright, now I think it's time we run through some of the spirits that changed because of DLC. Both Springman and Ribbon Girl have the same change, that being to their stage. Since there's an actual ARM stage now due to Min Min, I'd put both of these battles on Spring Stadium instead of Boxing Ring. Oh, they actually changed Ribbon Girl? Huh. Anyways, for the Min Min spirit, gee, I don't know. Can you all figure out how I would change the Min Min spirit? Well, while you all try to solve that mystery, we'll jump to the next set of spirits belonging to Xenoblade. For the Rex spirit, we can replace the Red Lucina with Pyra, since that's who the Red Lucina is meant to represent, and obviously we could do the same for the Pyra and Mythra spirits. Rex also had a stage changed after the DLC to be Omega Cloud Sea of All Rest, so we could change a few of the other stages to that too. For the PD Piranha Mario Striker spirit, I'd change the Giant Ivysaur to be a giant piranha plant who gets their final smash quickly. Also, I find it really funny how PD Piranha Mario Striker's got a spirit battle, but the main version of him doesn't have a battle. Time for a few more Zelda characters. Malon Spirit is a fight against Zelda on Smashville, with the only items being milk bottles and cuckoos. I think that fits pretty well, though once again I'm going to have to call Zelda's costume into question here. She's in her yellow alt, and while that may be a reference to Malon's white clothing, I personally think her dark hair alt fits better here. The hair color is a much more noticeable change than the clothes to me personally, plus this alt's clothes fit her adult version pretty well. For Beetle, they currently have it be a fight against Shirtless Shulk and Toon Link on Battlefield Gar Plain. Now for the most part, Beetle in the Wind Waker is found on his boat in the ocean, so putting the fight on a land stage doesn't really make much sense to me. I would change the stage to be either Pirate Ship or the boat portion of Woohoo Island. Oh, and I'd make Toon Link wear his default colors. Our final Zelda Spirit for this video belongs to the Happy Mask Salesman, which has one of the most baffling choices for a fighter I've ever seen. For some reason, this is a fight against Dark Young Link. Majora's Mask is a Happy Mask Salesman's primary appearance, but Dark Link never appears in that game. I mean, no matter how you look at this character choice, it just makes no sense. I mean, they could have at least used Fierce Deity Link, even if that still wouldn't make too much more sense. The rest of the fight is pretty good, with changing effects to represent the different masks, and Umbra Clock Tower being the stage to represent Clocktown's tower where the Happy Mask Salesman can be found, which is a really creative choice. It's just Dark Young Link here that makes very little sense, so who would I change him to? Well, I wasn't entirely sure who would fit best, so I had 3 options here. First off, Joker in his blue alt wouldn't be too bad due to his gimmick with the masks. Secondly, I thought Shulk looked a little closer to the Happy Mask Salesman, and maybe his Monado arts could represent the masks, if you squint really hard anyway. Finally, Richter is the character I think looks the closest, though he doesn't really have anything to represent masks. Either one of these 3 though would have been a significant improvement over Dark Young Link, which honestly just makes this feel like a lazy choice. The Villager and Iron Golem Spirit have always annoyed me a bit. It's against a giant Rob, which fits perfectly for an Iron Golem, but he's teamed with 3 small Steves to represent villagers. Now, if you don't see why that's kind of silly, let me remind you that there is literally a character on the Smash roster named Villager. In fact, what makes this even sillier is that during Steve's Classic mode, Villager is used to represent the Minecraft villagers, so why would it be different during the Spirit Battle? It just makes the reference more confusing, so I'd definitely change the Spirit Battle to match the Classic mode. Speaking of another mob that's different in Classic mode as opposed to their Spirit Battle, we have the Ghast. In its Spirit Battle, it's represented by giant metal Jigglypuff, whereas in Classic mode, it's represented by a giant white Kirby. Honestly, I find this change to be even more baffling than the Villager one. A giant white Kirby matches the design of a Ghast perfectly, whereas Jigglypuff is only very loosely similar. On top of that, why is the Jigglypuff metal? I've played Minecraft for like 10 years now, and I can't say I've ever got the impression that the Ghast is metallic, so I would swap Jigglypuff with White Kirby. The other conditions all fit perfectly, aside from the metal part. Alright, let's take a look at a few miscellaneous spirits I found. Blarg, yes he's miscellaneous, he's counted as being from the Yoshi series, not Mario, so shut up, is represented by Red Bowser with the Curry Atom on the lava transformation of Castle Siege. I have no problem with any of that. This is another battle I think could use an extra condition, that being the lava floor. In the Mario series, I mean the Yoshi series, these guys live in lava and pop out of it to attack, so it would just make sense if the stage was using the lava floor as well. Gooey is currently represented by Black Kirby, but I mean, they could just use Blue Kirby, considering Gooey is blue. Speaking of really obvious changes, Andross Star Fox 64 3D is currently represented by Ganondorf, which is a really strange choice considering Andross is sort of a monkey man, and we have the funny monkey DK in Smash. I'd definitely replace Ganondorf with a white DK here. Our final miscellaneous spirit belongs to Shadow the Hedgehog. Currently it's represented by a light blue Sonic on Newport City with the Shadow Assist trophy spawning in after a while. Now at first I was really confused as to why they used this costume for Sonic when one of his only unique colored costumes is black, which would fit well for Shadow, but then I realized that maybe Sonic here is meant to represent, well, Sonic himself. Personally, I think that's dumb and they should have just went with Black Sonic to make this battle purely about Shadow, but if they really wanted to have Sonic here for whatever reason, then at least put him in his default costume. And for our final segment here, let's end with a few more Mario spirits I think could use some changing. Kid, clearly the most memorable Mario character right next to the strolling bozo over here, is currently represented by Mario in his golfer outfit, which I guess is fair enough since Kid is from Mario Golf. Except for the fact that I'm lying and he's actually represented by Mario in his gray alt, which has no connection. Mario being a fully grown man, he doesn't exactly fit a character named Kid, so I think Ness would work better. The stage is also Golden Plains, and while that certainly works, it sort of just feels like a generic Mario choice. I would change the stage to be Green Hill Zone since it feels a lot more like a golf course to me personally. The Eggplant Man is a much easier change comparatively. When I look at this, I imagine it being a tall and lanky guy, which is why the fighter choice of Wario doesn't really make much sense to me. Luigi is a perfectly solid pink alt and fits the proportions of the Eggplant Man more, so I'd swap out the fighters here. Our final spirit battle of the day though has some of the most changes out of any battle. That spirit belongs to Geno. Basically, the battle runs through all of the party members from Super Mario RPG, Mario, Peach, Bowser, Mallow, and of course Geno himself. Unfortunately though, every single fighter here has something wrong with them that could be changed. For Mario, Peach, and Bowser, they're all found in an alternate costume despite not looking any different in Mario RPG, so I just put them in their default look. Mallow is represented by White Kirby, which would be fine, but this is another case of the character being represented by 2 different people in different places. In Mallow's own spirit, they're represented by a White Robin. Now since I've never played Mario RPG, I'm not entirely sure which character is better. Kirby looks more like Mallow, but maybe Robin functions closer to how they do. Either way, I'd rather them be consistent, so stick with either Robin or Kirby here. And then we have finally reached Geno himself, who is represented by Sheik. At launch, this was a decent reference looks-wise, but mechanically, Sheik and Geno work very differently. Luckily for Geno fans though, he was added into Smash Ultimate, as a Mii costume. So that would be the obvious choice for a fighter here. Other than that, the staging conditions are probably good. Again, I've never played Mario RPG, but it's still a pretty good spirit battle as is. But anyways, that's it for this video. Are you all mad at me for even suggesting that the Springman spirit could be changed? Let me know in the comments. I know that this is a bit of a shorter video, but I have a bunch of bigger ones in the works right now, but if you enjoyed this regardless, a like would be greatly appreciated. I still have a bunch of spirits that I think could use some fixing, so if you all enjoyed this episode, then maybe I could make another one in the future. But anyways, oh, we could put Min Min Spirit on Spring Stadium! Just got it. Anyways, dry bones for Smash, and I'll see you guys next time.